working now. Don't ask me how, but it
Yeah, the
says
LinkedIn feed is live.
8 this thing.
Okay,
Okay.
it's
So
working
look
now.
like all right. So so let's
Perfect.
start. I think
Awesome.
we clearly need to maybe to walk around these issues because that's taking more time than expected, but at least we are able to start now. And we are live. And by the
Excellent.
way, you remember last time for the previous community meeting, I've made a replay the week after. So I think we're going to do the same thing for this one. I'm going to shorter, all the messy stuff at the beginning of video, and then we're going to do a replay on next Thursday, sorry, for people who have not been able to join us today. So
Okay,
here we
good.
go.
Here we go. So,
And glad you have been able to make it, Hugo, as well.
Yeah, good to be here.
yeah. So, I thought I would be alone today, so I prepared a few stuff, but we can go through and yes, let's see if you have some questions coming on and so on. So, I've planned to talk about three different things today. Uh, First, having a review on some nice articles we get from people at CodeCentric. These are really deep dives articles, and they have really used Microcks a lot for being able to put such detailed content in their articles. So that's really cool. Second thing I plan to talk about was about the upcoming 1.11 release and milestone and backlogs and just, yes, pointing to some specific issues. And the third thing was talking you about my current initiatives about developing a new Kubernetes operator for Microcks and showcasing what we have at the moment. So just as an appetizer, what will be released, I hope in a few weeks around a Kubernetes operator for people who want to really streamline Microcks usage using GitOps stuff, GitOps principles on Kubernetes.
Yeah,
So
that sounds like a good plan. I think a
yeah,
lot of good topics to share.
cool. I don't know, Hugo, if you came with specific topics or specific questions, specific concerns.
Well, I certainly want to dig deeper into the operator and how we're able to do and manage examples and some secondary artifacts using the GitOps
Mm.
approach, basically declarative way. That certainly is something that we have seen there's interest into, and sometimes people find it as a limitation to implement automatization and with
Mm.
macros. Um, the second topic that I just wanted to bring into the roundtable was on the new ThoughtWorks radar that was just published yesterday or the day before yesterday, and where it highlights test containers as technology that you should adopt. So that's interesting, and I would also like to comment that with you.
Yeah, sure. Sure. Okay.
Cool.
Cool. So let's start, yes, talking about the community and having a review of the different articles. So I should be able to share my screen right now. So let me see if you can see. Let me know if you can see it. Okay, cool. So I really wanted to give a shout out to the people at CodeCentric for putting this together because they wrote massive articles about Microcks. So you can see there is part one, but also part 2 and part 3. So these are really deep dives, topics and materials and so on. So obviously, it really deserves a read from everyone interested in Microcks, everyone interested in mocking, simulations, and testings and so on. So really a big shout out to Sheila, color chief, and to Dr. Florian Radmacher. I don't know if I pronounce it well, so sorry if I did some mistake pronouncing the last names, but really big shout out to both of them because it's really nice articles with examples, with also a companion GitHub repository so that you can check the different specifications, check the different artifacts, check the Java code they used within this article. So really interesting, good stuff here. So just to give you a very quick walkthrough. So the first one is about introduction, but yes, they're giving an overview of the Microcks architecture, talking about the different components we have at core. So really interesting for the newbies. Then introducing their illustration, their example that is around customer management. Okay, so you can see that they have defined an OpenAPI specification using different endpoints like customer kinds, like login operations. So you can already see that there is different kinds of operation, post operation, get operations, and so on, with different kinds of routing logics. Here, some kind of static routing, here routing using a customer ID. And so during this first pause, they are really giving you a nice overview on what is Microcks and how it can ingest, analyze your OpenAPI spec, and then produce simulation endpoints on the fly. So really nice introduction article. The second one is already on specific and, let's say, advanced topic, I would say, that is about introducing some variation, some randomness into your examples, into your mocks. So they explain how you can do that using functions like random last name, random street address, and so on in Microcks. And the thing that is very interesting is that they are discussing the different options you have with Microcks, considering primary artifacts, secondary artifacts. So with outlining some best practice like putting static examples, happy path examples into the OpenAPI specification, but having this ability to have secondary artifact like Postman collection that can hold much more complex examples, much more dynamic examples, and how you can, yes, make all fit together. And yes, here, so you can see there is a screenshots on how to use Postman for specifying examples. And so there are a really nice introduction on this Microcks feature. And then they are finishing this article on explaining the different constraints you have the ability to set up on the Microcks level. So constraints regarding required parameters, but also constraints regarding regular expressions that parameters must satisfy in order to get access to the mock. So it's, yeah, can be an already advanced topic, and they are finishing with dispatcher. So very nice second article about how to specify mock data and how to do request validation and routing. And the third one that just landed yesterday, and I just finished to read it this morning, is about contract testing and how to build and rebuild and automate consistent mock environments. And so they also put a nice introduction on contract testing here with Java-based implementation of their customer management API. And they are finishing with all things related to how to automate this, how to use a test container within your Java application, and mostly within your Java integration test, and also how to also automate all the setup of advanced features in Microcks. And they have go very, very far here because typically they are using stuff that are not yet available through the test container settings and the test container interface. And so they have put in place some workarounds using Microcks REST APIs. So starting up the test container and then modifying stuff on the fly using our REST API. So very advanced stuff right here. And above all, very also interesting, let's say, interesting enhancement insights or enhancements targets for Microcks. So typically, we have this whole paragraph, this whole section here, discussing what it is easy to do right now at the moment with Microcks, but what is also, on the other hand, very complicated to set up. Also, where we have a lack of documentation on some specific advanced features. So I think it's definitely a very, very good material for us for the project to analyze this in details and to find some some ideas for optimization and enhancement so that we can make the user experience easier in the future.
Yeah.
So
clearly.
Laurent, and in this point, one of the questions that I had was regarding the documentation on how the overlays of secondary artifacts work with Microcks. I don't think we have that documented in the project. Like, how many secondary artifacts can I add, and how do they, stack over others? How do they, is there like a chain that is established? Like, we first use examples from the Open API or primary, then if you use Postman or if you use HAR, is that somehow documented?
This is not documented at the moment. I think that the only basic rule that is documented at the moment is to say that the primary artifact is giving you the structure, and the secondary artifacts are giving you additional examples. But
So how many secondary artifacts can we add?
there is no limit typically.
Yeah.
So you can put 5 for dozens of secondary artifacts. There is no real limit on that. The limit is not a technical limit, it's much more a management limit in the way that anytime you add new artifacts, you have to be sure you are not introducing a collision between the different examples. But as soon as you have different examples that are named differently, that are handling different case, there is virtually no limit to the number of artifacts we can have.
Yeah, in the documentation, I mean, the main concept of primary and secondary artifact is explained, but Hugo, based on your comment, maybe we need to highlight the fact that you can, add them on top of the others, and you can also create bundles of dataset based on secondary artifact for a specific purpose, for example, for a QE team, for a partner where we would like to anonymize all the example you may have, secondary artifact which are, specific to their usages. And as you said, and as Laurent confirmed, there's no limitation at all. It's just the fact that you can add them more like if you like sandwiches, you can put almond cheese, almond cheese, almond cheese. Up to you.
Yeah.
But maybe it's something we need to explain.
Yeah.
Maybe in the section that I put in a chat.
Mm.
Yeah, because most of the people just think that there's only one secondary artifact that you need to add. But I think we can mix and match. You can add,
Yeah.
and regarding the collision that Lauren was mentioning before, maybe we can also try to address that somehow. And what happens if I have a collision? Is it replace? Is it override? Is
Mhm.
it just ignore? Is there an error?
Mhm.
What happens when that happens?
When that's
Yeah.
override, typically, let's imagine you have two different request response example that are living in two different secondary artifacts, but they are holding the same name. They will still be imported. And once they are imported, they are attached to their original artifact. So that's what allows us to, when you will import an artifact once again, detect that it's an overwrite of the previously imported stuff. But if those examples living in different secondary artifacts have the same name, on the UI, they will be present twice with the same name in the little thumb giving their name. They're just, if you H over the little icon displaying the origin, you will see that it will come from two different artifacts, but it will be displayed with the same name. But yeah, you're right. I think it could be nice also to to add some documentation on that. And also there is another problem issue we not have solved yet. It's regarding the test phase. So at the moment, for example, let's say you are running an open API conformance test. Okay, and you have you have imported your OpenAPI spec as the primary artifact. That's the basic example, and we just have to reuse this OpenAPI spec to do schema validation. But imagine that you are using Postman collection and you have imported different Postman collection, and you are running a Postman collection test. That means you want to assert that the scripts in your Postman collection are valid. And in this configuration, you have no way to define what is the exact Postman collection that will be picked up by Microcks to execute the test. And I think that in the future, we have to handle this in a more, let's say, elegant way, either by providing the ability to select the artifact you want to base your test on, or if you want to say, for example, I want to aggregate all the different tests coming from all the different Postman collection, and I want to check everything. So this, if I remember correctly, there is an issue open on this, but this is something we have to, yes, to clarify in the future, because the behavior as of today is not very deterministic. You cannot say, you cannot guess what will be the collection that will be picked for the different tests. So one thing I had in mind just before trying to connect to this meeting, I think it could be nice to just ping Florian and Chela and maybe invite them during next community meeting, and maybe going through this discussion section and trying to create issues live. So it could be issues regarding the documentation, or it could be issues regarding new feature or announcement on the test container project as well. So I think it could be really nice to do that live with them. So don't know what you think about this idea, but it would be nice to invite them and yes, going further into the discussions topic here.
Yeah, I think clearly, and especially as they are based in Germany, we have a community meeting more or less for, let's say, from a time zone and time point of view, which is friendly for European like us. I mean, us, Laurent and I. Sorry, Hugo. So maybe it could be the opportunity to ask them if they would like to join and discuss about that, because as you said, Laura,
Yeah.
that's very nice feedback and information, and we are always, let's say, happy and eager to take care about this type of comments and see how we can improve the solution. And just for as you said, because that's one blog post per week for the latest 3 weeks, so that's just amazing. And thanks very much to Codecentrix and all the team involved on that, because we know that there's quite a whole team, let's say, who have started to work on Microcks. For information, Codecentric is a public adopter of Microcks, which is very good. So as Hugo said, kudos to Codecentrix and all the team. That's just amazing. And for the people who would like to see all this information, there's blog posts and so on, don't forget that on the LinkedIn page, we always share and reshare this information. So if you don't want to miss any, good blog post like this one, follow our LinkedIn page. That's the centerpiece of information.
Yep.
And so, Laurent, I think, yeah, we will contact them. Well, of course, we are in touch with them and ask them if they're going to be happy to join us for one of the next community meeting. That's a very brilliant idea, clearly.
Yeah, would be nice. Okay, switch to the next topic.
Yeah.
Good for you. Okay, so wanted to propose you to have a quick review on the 1.11 release. So it started something like 2 weeks ago, and we already did some great improvement regarding the technical foundation of Microcks. So typically in the 1.11 we will be Java 21. And with the support typically of new features of Java 21, like virtual threads on the web layer side. So we don't have specific benchmark at the moment, but we'll try to put some benchmark between the end of the release to be able to give you some metrics if it makes things better or worse. I don't think so, but so for the moment, if you try the nightly release of Microcks, it's Java 21 inside with virtual threads everywhere. So in the same time, and it was managed together, we upgraded to latest version of Spring Boot, but also latest version of Quarkus. Okay, so now under the hood, it's also Quarkus 3.15 and Spring Boot latest release. We upgraded also to latest version of Streamzy. Okay, we had we were very late on the latest version of Streamzy, so now we did a big jump. I think we jumped from 0.35 to 0.43, so it was quite a big jump, but it runs very, very smoothly. So,
Laurent, a couple
yeah.
of questions before you move forward. First, regarding the update to Java 21, my question is, how many people or how much traction is there for people running the direct Java version of the of Microcks, like Java minus jar, blah blah blah. Is it documented somewhere that they will need to upgrade to Java 21 and that it's not going to be compatible with older versions?
It's not documented anywhere, but I would say that the main driver here is really being able to remove some CVEs, okay, and because Java 17 is getting end of life pretty soon. Okay. It's 2 years, but it's good to move very quickly. And the second motivation of moving to Java 21 was being able to play around with virtual threads and have better performance. So this is not yet checked, but I hope we'll be able to do that very soon. Regarding your concern about it will not be compatible with the previous versions and so on, I think there is two things to consider. We are embedding Java 21 JDK within the container images, so we can benefit from JDK 21 new features like virtual threads. And while people are using container images, they don't have to worry about what is the version of Java and what is the JDK and so on. So that's the
Yeah,
first thing to
exactly.
consider.
That's what I was asking is like, do we have a notion of how many people are using the plain Java version, like running locally instead of using the container image or the operator or any other uh, uh, installation process like the extension
No,
or
We
not
don't have
combination?
clear metrics and counters, as you can imagine, because we don't track anything within the project.
Yeah, yeah. I was
But
just
yeah.
we
wondering if
just like
there's any
download
issues or
informations.
discussions.
Mm.
If not, it's okay. I mean, if it is really no one using that approach, then it's certainly okay to just keep the updates with the container images and all the
Yeah,
different other installation process.
yeah.
And yeah, and the second thing that was related to the StreamC upgrade. So I realize this is for the film chart as well as the operator, right?
Uh,
Where
this
StreamC is being
is
used.
no, this is just for the Microcks core. The operator is still Java 17.
No, no, I mean for StreamC.
So
StreamC. Okay, sorry. Uh, yeah, this is mostly for the StreamZ custom resource we are creating. We have to be sure that they are aligned and compatible with the latest version of StreamZ. Because
So are we using node pools now?
are we using, sorry?
Node pools.
No, we are just using two custom resources that are Kafka and Kafka topic.
Okay. I
Okay.
think latest versions of StreamC will require to create node pools when moving to KRaft. But we can go over that for later.
Yeah. But so we had this is Arch that has managed this and he's done a test with latest version of StreamZ on a Minikube instance. And the Kafka and the Kafka topic custom resource are enough for having everything working correctly. But we wanted to be sure that it was the case. So yeah, don't have to create any additional custom resource for that.
Okay.
but Hugo, if you are, maybe if you can, because that's a good point. I mean, if you are able to check it out, if you can check the nightly build and see if this is mandatory or not, because so
Mm,
far it was not be necessary at all. But maybe we may have missed something.
yeah.
Is there any date for the release of 1.11?
For the moment, 1.11 is planned for the end of November. So
Okay.
most of the time we are trying to having a release every 2 months and to alternate major and minor release. Okay. So 1.10.1 was end of September, so end of November, more or less. Okay. Going through different open issues, you can see there are still some things to do here. And one I started to work on yesterday that is upgrading to latest version of Keyclock. Here again, because it solves a lot of different CVEs that were present on the current Keyclock version we are using. And one thing that is also asked for different people around here is having this ability to uh, specify parameter constraints on mocks using a metadata file. Okay. So a metadata file allows you today to specify labels, metadata information on your mocks, but also custom dispatchers on your operations. But you don't have the ability to specify parameter constraints on metadata at the moment. So we had few people who started to ask for this, and you can see that if you remind that the guys from the guys and the friends from CodeCentric also had this issue because they had this workaround working with REST APIs of Microcks to set parameter constraints. Now the goal of this one is to have this ability to manage this as a regular artifact and have this ability to define constraints directly in your metadata file. Okay, so you can see that there is still room for many other issues in the 1.11 release. Okay. Usually we have something like 30 to 40 different issues in the release. So it's still time if you want to bring in some improvements, or if you have some ideas for better feature support in Microcks, do not hesitate and yes, create new issues, requests for new announcements. It's still time, yes, to have them packed in the 1.11. Any questions? Any
Maybe
comments on
Laurent,
that?
an update regarding the Keyclock upgrade, because you told me last time that it's a very, a tricky one. So maybe some information to share, and why not?
Yes.
Some contribution to requests maybe on this specific topic, because that's the hard part, let's say.
Yes, nice point, because so we were previously using Keyclock 23 version, and we realized that with Keyclock 26, they changed their way to bundle the JavaScript adapter for Keyclock. And fortunately, the way they are bundling it at the moment is now no longer compatible with our front-end stack. So typically, if I understand things correctly, because I'm not an expert on front-end stuff, it is related to the type of packaging and to the module we are using at the moment, the module system we are using at the moment, but also to the version of TypeScript we are using. So at the moment, I have something that is working more or less by adapting the packaging of the JS adapter. But I'm not, I don't succeed to have something that is working out of the box with the packaging that comes from the npm repository. So yeah, I should have had the help wanted label here, because at the moment I just have a quick and dirty hack to make things working, but it's definitely not how things are supposed to work in the long time. This also raised the concern about should we update our front-end stack? Okay, we are still running on a very, very old Angular version because we are using a Patternfly library that is sticky with Angular 9. Okay, and I think as of today we have Angular version 18 or something that has been released few weeks or few months ago. So yes, we have to figure out what to do with this front-end stuff. So there is different scenario, and I think we should get much more in details and trying to explore those scenario. First scenario would be to get rid of Patternfly and stick with Angular. Okay. Or maybe fork the Patternfly library and do the migration to a newer version of Angular by herself. I see you
Yeah,
nodding.
no,
Go.
I'm totally against that. That's too much effort. I
Exactly.
think, yeah, I think we certainly need to have a discussion on the UI tech stack.
Yeah.
Because yeah, using an old version, really old version of the stacks also opens the possibility of CVEs, vulnerabilities, and maybe
Yes,
it's
exactly.
worth consider moving the stack either forward, deprecate
Mm,
some features, or even consider migrating to a new different stack for that. Because yeah,
exactly.
people have deprecated some of the adapters. They're taking a different approach for that, using standard libraries like Nexthouse and some others that are implementing generic OpenID Connect
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
clients. So
They announced that the JavaScript adapter will be deprecated. It is not yet the case because as of today, I think they don't have any recommendation on what could be an alternative as vendor agnostic OIDC library, but it will come in the future. So we have also to be prepared on this. And as you said, the third option is to move the front-end stack to something else, maybe React, but I don't like React, but personal taste. Or something I like pretty much, and yeah, but I have to evaluate the traction around this. Is that the Svelte framework? I found it pretty appealing, but we have to evaluate the traction around Svelte. But yeah, could be nice to start a GitHub discussion on this, just to gather feedback from people and to see what we can do next. Maybe Yassine, you can add this in the meeting minutes.
Yeah, I
It would be my task.
I think, yeah, that's an important point, and we all know that it's first of all, a hot topic, and also something that require a lot of work and engagement. Third option seem to be the preferred one for everybody so far, at least all the people and adopters we've been in touch with. Let's open a conversation and discussion and issue on this topic, and see who want to join and help the community to move forward on this important point. But that's a big gap. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Third topic, I wanted to discuss what we are working on the new operator, but I don't think we are going to have a demo at the moment. Just we still have 5 to 10 minutes, and just to give you a broad overview and broad introduction on what we are cooking in a moment. So there is a new GitHub repository, new, but it has few months already. So Microcks dash operator. And this is typically rewriting of the Microcks sensible operator that was very hard to maintain and to evolve. And also it was very slow during execution time. And so yes, the thing here that we wanted to use the Java operator SDK, and namely Quarkus undercover, to be able to develop this operator. And I have to say that it has been a very pleasant experience. It is very easy to write, very efficient to execute. And so it is mostly done, I would say. We still have to write some documentation and test some edge cases that have not yet been tested, but I think we would be able to release a first version on 0.0.1 in a few weeks. So there are two drivers for the new custom resource design for this operator. The first one is simplicity, and the second one is extensibility. So typically, you will have this. You will find this kind of custom resource managed by this operator. You will see that this is a Microcks resource that allows you to set up, to maintain, to update an existing instance. And if you are looking just at the required fields, you can see that we just need 3 different information: a version of Microcks to install and 2 URLs that will be the endpoints available, both for Microcks and for the Keycloak, if you want to set up the IDP and the role-based access based on Keycloak. So very straightforward to have this to write this custom resource, and you will see next time in the demonstration that things are really fast during the execution, and you have this ability to have a Microcks instance that is up and running in maybe something like 15 or 20 seconds. It's really, really, really fast. Second thing we wanted to do is to have this ability to define everything as a custom resource. So now you typically have this new custom resource that is named API source. And an API source allows you to declare the different artifacts you will need to populate an existing Microcks instance. Okay, so an API source will always be related to a Microcks instance. Okay, so this is the name of the instance you may have initialized just above. Okay, and so the operator will use the information from the specification here to populate and to manage the content of your instance. So you will have the ability to import artifacts. It could be main artifacts, or it could be primary one, secondary one. Okay. And you will also have the ability to define importers. So importers are periodically polling repository so that you will always have the latest version of an artifact into your Microcks instance. Okay, so it allows you to manage everything using artifacts and importers. Sorry,
Hugo,
Hugo.
in
Bye-bye,
to
Hugo.
leave, so see you soon, Hugo. And in any case, this is a very important topic, as you know, and we'll see each other
Yeah,
at KubeCon in a few weeks to focus on that.
Yeah.
perfect. Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Thanks a lot,
See you,
Hugo.
Hugo. Have a nice day. So API source is a very important custom resource, and so imagine you may use Flux or Argo CD to deploy a GitOps approach. You may have your Microcks custom resource and your API source, one or many API source defined within your Git repository, and everything will be populated and managed automatically by the operator. And latest custom resource we have at the moment that comes with this first version of the operator is the secret source. Okay, because you may know that when you are connecting a Microcks instance with either your different Git repository or your different brokers on your different environments, you will have this need of providing credentials, providing certificates, providing tokens, and so on to authenticate your connection with external systems. And so you have to fill Microcks with secrets, but these filling can now be done automatically either from secrets that are specified directly within your secret source custom resource, or now secrets can also be synced from your Kubernetes secrets. So imagine you are using some kind of a secret manager like HashiCorp Vault or whatever, CyberArk, for example. They are deployed into your Kubernetes. They take care of providing Kubernetes secrets from their own secret definitions on their stores. You can now sync this secret definition into Microcks as well directly. And so by defining a secret, having its values coming from another Kubernetes secrets, you have this ability to cascade the renewal of secrets into your Microcks instance. So you can see that this secret source is like an API source associated with a Microcks instance. And so the operator will take care about everything, take care about renewing secrets, will take care about destroying secrets if you no longer need any secrets, for example, automatically for you. So that's really cool. That's you can see that we try to make this very straightforward to understand and to apply. Don't have to fill out a lot of different properties. We try to stick to very few properties, the most straightforward one. But yeah, so it has to be released in a few weeks.
Yeah, and that's extremely extensible, and I think it's not. I think, I mean, we know that it's going to facilitate a lot of ecosystem and partnership interaction and interoperability. Sorry. And we are working on it, so stay tuned, because KubeCon North America is in just mid of November. Laurent and I will be the full week in Salt Lake City, and we will announce and showcase, by the way, the operator plus some of the very cool integration we are working on. So that's amazing, and I think gonna help a lot some of the biggest adopters who are using Microcks at scale, who are dreaming about a way to, let's say, to do automation from end to end. So that's amazing.
Exactly. So do not hesitate having a look at the repository. So I think we not that far from having something very, very stable that will be released soon. And yes, as usual, feel free to open some discussions, to open some issues, to give us some stars as well. But yeah, very, very happy to get your feedback on this.
Yeah, that's great, Laurent. I think that's close to an hour.
Close to an hour,
that's very, very interested point to share, and always glad, let's say, to communicate and share with the community. So as we said, we're going to certainly replay this one and shortcut the beginning of the meeting and next week, and everything is already online on YouTube and LinkedIn. So feel free to check it out, replay, and if you have any question, just join us upstream on Discord or using GitHub. That's where you can chat and engage with the community, which is always happy to help.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks a lot, Yassine, for joining us. That's cool.
Thank
For
you.
managing. Yeah, thank you, and see you soon.
Yeah, see you.
Enjoy the holidays. Bye bye.
Yeah, gonna take some rest.
Yeah,
Cheers,
sure.
guys. Bye.
Yes.